I cannot continue without commenting on this music right there. Every time that I listen to it, it touched me in a way that you cannot imagine. So I hope it's been a blessing to you as well. Um, let's talk about what's coming up in a couple of months. We know that the cost of living adjustment is going to be around 2.6 to 2.7%. What does that mean? That means that everyone that's receiving retirement benefits, survival benefits, SSI, disability benefit, spousal benefits, child care benefits, every single one of you will be receiving an increase of 2.6 to 2.7%. Now, every time they give you an increase, obviously they increase the Part B premium as well. So the Part B premium will be increased to $206.50. Now, back during the pandemic, when they increased it to 8.5%, the cost of living to 8.5%, I said at that time that we would hit the $200 limit, and I was proven wrong. And I'm glad I was proven wrong at the time, because we couldn't take that hit at that time. And instead of it increased, it was decreased. But now we back there because it was decreased. The government, the president at the time, decided to lower the Part B premium. Now, every single one of you guys who's in have Medicare, you do have a premium. The vast majority of you that are listening to me right now, you don't see your premium, because what we've done, especially those of you who have been with me for a long time and currently with me at Alto Health, what we do is, the first thing we do is file for what we call a Medicare saving program. So the Medicare saving program, when we do that, what happens is that now the state is going to pay the Part B premium for you, so it's not coming out of your pocket. I want to say we are live right now on Facebook and YouTube. You could always go to WSRF 1580 AM and subscribe. And you could watch this show live every time we're on the air. And we've been consistent thus far. Every Wednesday we are down here doing it live. And we're going to continue to do that and do it even better. Okay? Because we have some important information that we have to bring to you on a weekly basis. Now, there's some, I've recently found out that there's some new information about TPS, and we got to bring back MedPredom back and an immigration lawyer, so we could talk more about that for you guys, because there's a lot of you who have been here since 2009 that's receiving retirement benefits, and yet without your legal status, the government decided that, well, you're not going to be receiving your retirement benefits and your Medicare, which you've worked for. You've acquired your 40 quarters. So all the requirement that was necessary for you to have those benefits, you've accomplished that. So there's no reason why you shouldn't have that. So that's something that we need to bring back and MedPredom back, and so we could talk more about that information. So we're going to try to see probably a Monday, and we'll do that. But for now, so this is what's about to come right now. So I want you guys to be mindful of what's coming and what to expect. And There's going to be a lot of different changes in the coming year. Some of the plans are already talking about them, and we hope to bring some of that information to you, and so you could be well informed, and in terms of when you're making a decision, so you could be informed as to what kind of decision that you're making. There's a lot of medication coming up this year that the price is going to be reduced on them. Remember back a couple of years ago, the Biden administration passed a law to negotiate the price of prescription drugs to allow Medicare to negotiate the price of prescription drugs. So that's something that's going to take place, that's already taken place, and there's a lot of diabetes medication, blood thinners, heart medications. You're going to see a lot of that that's going to come out this coming year. That's going to come out in 2026 with a reduction in price. 305-945-1580, 305-945-1580. You could call now with your questions. 305-945-1580, 305-945-1580. Call you with your question, and we will take all your question right away. 305-945-1580, 305-945-1580. Now, there's something else that I really wanted to impress upon you when you're making your decision as to whether it's a doctor or whether it's a clinic. First of all, there's certain things that you should be aware of and ask questions. But the main thing is, when you have a doctor that you've been seeing for a long time and you trust that doctor, then there's no reason for you to change. You stay with your doctor. I like to use an example of having a car and you consistently changing the whether it's a dealership or you changing they call them now un créole du mécanicien. Over here they call them the technician. So if you're constantly changing your technician, then he's going to keep removing certain parts. And next thing you know, that you no longer have a car and your car just breaks down and you're asking your why. Well, because you haven't been consistent in maintaining a provider. The purpose of you having a doctor, and that's why you have to make sure that your doctor is consistent with your care, and therefore they are providing the right type of care for you. Now, I'm not talking about the service that the clinic is going to provide. That's another story, and we'll get into that as well. But the main thing is what I want you guys to concentrate on. Whether you come into Alto Health, whether you go into X, Y, and Z clinic, but if you're somewhere and you're satisfied with the type of service that you're getting from your doctor, then trust your doctor, stay with your doctor. I would love for everybody to be calling me and say, yeah, we're coming to you at Alto Health. But I know that the type of service that we offer, that you don't appreciate it. I know that we could guarantee the type of service that you need, you deserve. But I'll be a hypocrite if I'm going to sit here and tell you that your doctor is the number one important things that you could have on your side. If you at Alto Health, you're satisfied with the service, you're satisfied with your doctor, and especially if you someone that was with that doctor prior to him moving over to Alto Health, Should you follow him? Yes, you should follow him. You should follow him, especially that this is a doctor that you're accustomed with, and they know your care, and you should continue with that doctor. 305-945-1580, 305-945-1580. And just the same, if you come to me and say, yes, you like to come to Alta Health, but you've been seeing a doctor for a number of years. There's a listener that's usually, he used to call a lot. I haven't heard from him in a while. I think the last time I heard from him was when Matt Prudon was on the air with me. And he made a comment. He came on and finally made a comment. But he always say this. He said, listen, if I was not with my doctor for a long time, I would come and join Gilbert at his clinic. I appreciate that. So we want to emphasize that upon making a decision to be in a particular center, in a particular medical center, your priority is the doctor, your doctor, the doctor that you've been following all these years. And you have to make sure that the doctor is knowledgeable about its craft. If you pick in a provider and the provider cannot provide you the proper care, then what's the use of going to the doctor and see him? So we want to emphasize that, and we for some reason this is something that I thought about, came to my mind this morning actually. We talk about that, and hopefully the next session we may touch upon it a bit. But I know there's still a lot to talk about. Having said that, the line is open for you guys. If you have any question, you may call 9546 up. Sorry, that's my phone number. The phone to call is 305-945-1580, 305-945-1580. That's the number to call right now, so you could get in touch with me with your questions. Okay? So we discussed about the increase that you're going to get. So I'm very excited the fact that from year to year they continue to increase it. Let's go back to the cost of living adjustment. What is it? The cost of living adjustment is based on your consumer price index. So it's based on a consumer price index is the price that you're actually paying for a good. So when you go to a market or you go food shopping to any supermarket, that price that you're paying for that good is monitored because it tells you that the value or the power of the dollar that you possess right now. So right now the inflation is around 2.6, 2.7%. Now we think that it's going to go higher because of the tariffs, because of all the things that's being put in place. So the fact that they put it at 2.67 or 2.6 or 2.7%. So if it goes higher, the power of the dollar is going to continue to reduce. So your ability to purchase a certain amount, like for example, a few years ago, or let's say maybe 3 years ago, the price of eggs was not as high as it is right now. So what they've done when they put that 2.6 or 2.7% cost of living adjustment is so that the value of the dollar doesn't decrease in your hand. especially those of you who are in retirement that are on a strict budget. So the 2.6 or 2.7%, whatever they choose for it to be, which they will announce that on October 17th. So we have some time to go for that announcement. But hopefully, for some people, the 2.2% doesn't represent much. If you take 2% of 700, it's only $14. And every time they give an adjustment, I usually get people that tells me, "Oh, Gilbert, I'm only getting $10. I'm only getting $15." Well, it's based on what you're receiving from Social Security, a percentage of that. They base an increase how much they feel that inflation is for at that moment, and for you to maintain a cost of living adjustment, they've increased it by that amount, but that doesn't mean that you're gonna see a high impact, because based on the percentage that you're receiving. I think during the pandemic, they had the highest, I believe, in history of increase, which was 8.5, 8.7%. But if you calculate it over the years, I would say it's amount to about 17% increase for those of you that are receiving retirement benefits. Another thing that I discovered recently, and that was a few months ago, while we were about to go to an event, I'm waiting for them to usher us in. So I grabbed my phone and I was looking at it, and I find out that those of you that hit the age of 62 and you have not even though you have not collect your retirement, well, when they give a cost of living adjustment, you also get a cost of living adjustment. And I was so ecstatic when I found out about the information. The closest person I could find, I pulled them and said, "Do you know that you are receiving an increase this coming year as well?" And it's something that I was not aware of it. But and I just love it when I get those information and be able to share it with you guys, because that's something that I was not aware of, and it was indeed new information. 305-945-1580, 305-945-1580. Call right now. Call right now with your question. So yeah, you who just turned 62 this year will also get a cost of living adjustment, because the money you contribute, when I started contributing money into Social Security, the value of the dollar was much more than it is today. And I had to wait till I'm 62 to get those cost of living adjustment. So the adjustment of my money has not been made yet. So basically, they have to play catch up with us in order for the value of the dollar that we put aside 15, 20, 30, or 40 years ago, that we have to wait till we get 62 for us to start receiving that adjustment. 305-945-1580, 305-945-1580. Now, another area that I do want to cover, and I want to put the emphasis on, I do want to cover Medicare. And usually when I come with a subject, it's an experience I had throughout the day, and then felt that the need to share it with you guys so that you're not making the same mistake the average people are making. The Bible say that my people are dying because of lack of knowledge. I don't think the listeners of 1580 should be dying of lack of knowledge when it comes down to Social Security benefits, survival benefits, disability benefits, SSI benefits, Medicare benefits, Medicaid benefits, anything they have to do with those subjects, and and Medicaid, and food stamp, that you guys, I don't believe that you guys have any reason for you to be dying because of lack of knowledge. Because you're blessed that we come on a weekly basis to bring that information to you. And that information come to those of you that's working and that's coming in or waking up 3 o'clock in the morning, because sometimes this show is being played on air. I remember one gentleman called me. One gentleman called me. It was 3 o'clock in the morning. This guy called me and said, "Gilbert, I'm listening to you right now on the radio." I was worst off. I picked up the phone at 3 o'clock in the morning. But you guys are getting that information, so there's no reason. So I had a gentleman that came into the office, and basically, he had his Medicare since 2019. Lost his Part B, decided that he's not going to take the Part B because they were charging 2019. How much they were charging for the Part B premium? 2019, I think it was about $85. So he decided not to take the Part B premium because of $85. If memory served me, it was about that amount. Now, I think where he went wrong at the time, granted, I think 2019 I was on the air. Yeah, I was on the air, coming on the air, giving you guys information. But, somebody did not take the time, or somebody did not introduce him to one of our shows, or who hear the information from the show and share it with him. There's no reason why you should give up your Part B. Let me tell you why you shouldn't give up your Part B. Because your Part B covers you for doctor's visit, where you don't pay anything. It covers you for specialist visit, which you don't pay anything. But what it further do is it allow you to get a Part C, which is the join a Medicare Advantage plan, and at the same time have the Part D, which is a prescription drug plan. And if you look at, a lot of us, the mistake that we do, we concentrate on the wrong thing. And I know life is hard, life is difficult. But without your health, life could be difficult, could be hard, it could be great. Well, without your health, you can't enjoy it. I know I'm preaching to the choir, and you guys already know this. So if you're at the age where you should be receiving your Medicare Part A and Part B, what I want you guys to concentrate on is the value of what you're getting. A lot of people tell me that, well, I'm not going to get the Medicare right now, Part B, because I'm still working. I have insurance on my job. Have you sit down and do a comparison of what you are covered in your job? Do you know that the plan that you have on your job, the day that they throw you out the door, that plan's going to leave, you're going to leave without those plans. So in other words, when they throw you out, they say, well, we'll hold on to this. You no longer have this. So when you finally is able to receive Medicare, then you should take full advantage of it. I usually tell everyone that the day that you're going to be effective, which is the first day of the month of your birth month, you should make sure that you enroll in a plan by then, you have your Medicare Advantage by then, and then that same week that you are scheduled to see a doctor. So why are you paying Medicare X amount every pay period if you're not going to take the full advantage of it? That's basically like some of the subscription that we have. I've seen some of them that pops up on my bank statement that a company is taking this amount and somehow they manage to always get their money, but you don't know where are they coming from. They certainly know Netflix, well, I'll say Netflix. But the others, you don't know what kind of service that they've done in your life. So it's the same thing with the Medicare. Know exactly what you're being covered under Medicare. And I've always said to you guys that make sure you put a Medicare Advantage plan with it, because the Medicare Advantage plan, what it does basically eliminate all your co-payment or your co-insurance, the deductible, eliminate all that for you. During the week, I've had a conversation with an individual that was telling me that what they start seeing is that, especially from up north, when you're talking about up north, as far as up north to Canada, the waiting time that they have with to see doctors. And now we're talking about another concern for a lot of people down here is the fact that there's an influx of nurse practitioners and not seen by a doctor on their regular visit. Now, I don't have anything against nurse practitioners. I was seeing one for many years until she moved to another country. But you have to be examined by a doctor at least once a year. And that's the rule. So there's a lot of change that's happening. But meanwhile, you're living in an area where you could have the best of care. In South Florida, if you have Medicare, you have Medicaid, you have a Medicare Advantage plan, then you're covered 100%. We talk about most people that somehow have a certain level of income, you will not find them join a Medicare Advantage plan. Why? It's simply because what they decide to do is say, well, I'm going to pay a supplement pay a couple of $100 for a supplement. And the supplement, first of all, I'm still going to have to pay the Part B premium. Plus, I'm going to pay a premium for the supplement on a monthly basis. As I get older, this is going to get the premium is going to increase. When I go to a doctor, I do have a copayment. And well, those people really, they're not concerned about $20. They're not concerned about $50 copay. And if you sit down and explain all this to them and show them the difference, they may not be aware of Medicare Advantage plan. And we don't have much time, but next time we come on, we'll discuss the pros and the cons about having a Medicare Advantage plan and a supplemental plan. Because the only thing is that it allows you, if you live in 6 months in New York, 6 months in Florida, then the 6 months you are in New York, you could see any doctor without any penalty. And when you move back to Florida, you could see a doctor in Florida without any problem. That's the only purpose that is served. But there's still a way around that, because if you're in a Medicare Advantage plan, well, you could go to urgent care. You may have a little co-payment for the urgent care, but yeah, you could go see an urgent care instead of going to the hospital. 305-945-1580, 305-945-1580. So this is what we have for you today. Don't make the mistake of not taking the Part B premium. Now, I know coming this year, a lot of people are going to say, wait a minute, it's $206.50. I'm going to stay away from it. But if they offer you what they call a buyback plan, and you take it, it's going to cost you more than $206.50. Because they have $150 to $170 for hospitalization per day for the first 7 days. So imagine now, you're not, I think I did the math, came about what, around 14. Well, let's do the math. $170. If you do that times 7, let me see who's faster. 170 times 7, it gives you $1,190. That's how much copayment that's how much the hospital gonna bill you. The hospital going to bill you $1,190 for your hospital stay. And the insurance will cover the rest. Yet, when you go to a certain specialist, you'll have a copayment. There's certain other aspect of whether it's MRI, whether it's certain other things that you will have a copayment for. 305-945-1580, 305-945-1580. So be mindful of that. Because the agent that's going to sit across from you, they're only going to look at one thing, your weakness. And your weakness is going to be not wanting to pay that $206.50. But what I want you to do before you even make that decision, find somebody you could trust. If you cannot find somebody you could trust, then the agent that's sitting beside you, ask them for the brochure. so that you could read for yourself, if you're able to read, exactly what that plan covers. So you're not caught off guard when you go to the hospital. They tell you that the first 7 days you're going to have to pay $170. Because I guarantee you, if you have that question, and that question goes unanswered, that's mean that that agent is not doing their job. They're not looking for your best interests. The only thing they're doing is looking for to fill their pockets. There's a proverb that says Haitian will offer you a glass of water or a meal, but they will not share information about the bank account with you. I think something to that nature. So be very careful this coming year. Because once they put you in a plan, and God forbid, and usually I usually tell everyone this. You know today, you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. There's certain people that I've seen in within months how their health has deteriorated. And you see, one portion of the year, they look healthy, but you don't know what's brewing underneath. And then they come to the hospital. They come to the doctor's office, and next thing you know, they end up in the hospital. So, a plan like the buyback plan, if you're sick, it's not a good plan for you. If you're going a lot to a specialist, it's not a good plan for you. Now, you're going to ask me, why do they have it if it's not a good plan? Well, they create a different plan so that they could get your attention. Because they've created a need. They create a product that you're going to have a need for. But the fact that they create a product which they're going to create the need for it, that doesn't mean that you should fall for that trap. For many years, I've been discouraging agents that was part of my center not to sell it, not to sell it. If I'm giving you a lead, I have the right to tell you what to do and what not to do. Otherwise, you're not going to get a lead from me. Because at the end of the day, you, the patient, is going to come back to me and say, Gilbert, you're the one that put me in that plan. So we make sure that doesn't happen. 305-945-1580, 305-945-1580. And by the way, I'm not an agent. But I will get the blame for it. But thank God those days are over. Because at Alto Health, we'll do things totally different. We make sure that we look out for your best interests. We make sure that we provide you with the best of care. We make sure that you are our main priority. 305-945-1580, 305-945-1580. It's quiet. It's quiet. I guess you guys must be really in tune of what's going on and listening to what's going on. It's so quiet. Now, I know I've given you guys a lot to think about. I've given you guys a lot to think about. There's a lot to think about. In the next, I would say 8 or 9 minutes that we have left, there's another subject I'm going to touch upon it. And there's certain subject like survival benefits, like SSI. I like from time to time to touch upon them because, for the simple reason is that there's someone right now that's listening to me right now that may be facing this situation right now. If you have SSI, there's some do's and don'ts. We won't get into the do's, but we're going to get, more importantly, we're going to concentrate on the don'ts. You know that you're not supposed to travel outside of the United States and stay more than 29 days. That's really 30 days. I said 29. For the simple reason is that a couple of years ago, I went to St. Lucia. I think it was St. Lucia. And on our way back, when we got to the airport, after driving like a madman, getting to the airport, dropped the rental car, and stand in line, about to board the plane, and they pulled everybody back and said, nope. Because the plane had a dent on the nose, and they couldn't use that plane to fly us back to Miami, back to, I think it was back to Miami. So we had to wait the next day. So they put us up on a different resort, which was a lousy resort, and we fly the next day. So imagine if you are on SSI. You know that you can't stay out. The most you could stay out of the country is 30 days. And you arrive at the airport on the 30th day to make it back to the United States. And when you get there, they tell you that there's no flights. Now, I don't know, maybe if you could show proof that it was not your fault, maybe that the agent at the Social Security may have said, well, it was not your fault, we'll waive it. But you don't want to take that chance. Because if they're in a bad mood on that particular day, they'll just say, well, that's your problem. So on the 29th day, you make it out. So if you're unable to travel on the 29th day, you stay an extra day. Well, the next day you travel back to the United States. Then you will not be in penalty of paying extra. Or basically, what they would do is cancel your SSI, or have you return all the money from that date on when you're doing your next interview. So they'll ask you to refund all that money. So you want to be very careful. A lot of you are eligible for SSI. And there's some people, when I talk to them, say, well, when I go to Haiti, I spend 3 months. Now, I know if you're in Okai, Port-au-Prince, well, real soon, Okai, you might be able to JS, you're not going anywhere. real soon you might be able to take a flight straight to Okai. From Okai, passer Gelé. From Gelé, monter pour Salut. Al prendre sable. Sous plage là, manger some fried fish. Some fried lobsters. Passer beaucoup de mari, dit mari, c'est Gilbert Voyo. Pour take care of. Et puis, you know something? On a side note, c'est celle-là que je me un bon ou un babankou. Il pas fait aucun effet sur moi, non? But anyway, we know we're dreaming right now. But it's okay. It's okay to dream. It's okay to dream. But yeah. And they say, well, when I go to Haiti, I spend 3 months. Well, if you're going to go to Haiti and spend 3 months, make sure that before you leave, you go to the Social Security Bureau and tell them that to suspend your SSI because you're going to go to Haiti for 3 months. So when you come back, you could have them reinstated. Don't make the mistake and say, yo pap wè sa. Wap kon George. Wap kon Georgina, wap kon Georgette. 305-945-1580, 305-945-1580. You get 4 minutes left. So those of you who have questions, we cover a lot today. We cover the cost of living adjustment that you're going to receive, a 2.6 to 2.7% increase. It's expected that you're going to have an increase for $206.50 for the Part B premium. And we talk about the need for you to have a doctor and stay consistent with that doctor. And we're covering about SSI. So there's a lot we covered today. And, if you miss anything today, most likely during the week, you'll hear that same information again. Or, we'll rebroadcast it sometime in the evening or in the morning. And you could get the same information again. Or if you have a question that you were afraid to call me this time, you could always reach me at 954-667-4885, 954-667-4885. It's right up here. Nope. It's right up there on the screen. So remember to subscribe. Go on YouTube and Facebook, WSRF 1580 AM, and subscribe. You'll see a handsome gentleman with a sign of Alto Health Clinic in front of him. That was very smart of you, my friend. Congrats. Mes amis, c'est un plaisir pour que we're here with you today. Again, my name is Gilbert Frank, and I could always be reached at 954-667-4885. 954-667-4885. If you're here, stay here for the Creole version next. We see you soon. I love you guys. A bientôt. Bye-bye. This is our daily bread.